welcome. We're in the chill zone now. This is Neo's live stream. So a little less stuffy, a little less formal than the main stage. But the thing that's happening for me is because I'm over here talking to people, I have no idea what you just presented about. And people watching the live stream, they're probably going to watch it later. So you get a chance now to kind of just say, hey, here I am. This is what... So people already know. So people already know you. I'm behind the game. So you're here. Maybe say hi to everybody and just introduce yourself.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for the invitation to the podcast and also to HiveFest. So my name is Jose Rodriguez. I'm from Mexico City. And it's my 11th year now in Bitcoin, blockchain, and cryptocurrencies. So I've been...
You are an OG.
A while.
Good job.
Yeah. So something that I showed in my conference is how I started. When I started, there weren't any companies in Mexico. There wasn't anything. There were only some few companies around the world and an exchange in Argentina and a couple of exchanges in Brazil, and that was it in Latin America. So I come from stockbrokers and financial markets and also security and investigation services of financial frauds. So I got to see the whole financial system on top, underneath the hood, and everything that you need to know. And I saw the potential. At the time, there was only Bitcoin. I mean, there wasn't even Ethereum or anything else. So it was only Bitcoin and some Bitcoin clones like Litecoin, Namecoin, etc. And I saw the potential in Bitcoin not only as money, but as a financial service, as financial services and a financial network in which you can move value, which is something that we're seeing right now, for example, with Ethereum, that you can create another type of asset besides not only Ether, but you can have gold, you can have silver, you can have commodities, etc. And that is something very interesting that I've seen during the years in financial systems, and that was like my first ways that I got into this, how to transfer value on money internationally. And well, after that, I've got a hook. So in 2013, I went all into this. I had been trying to create community events before that. In 2012, 2011, started to see how this worked. And in 2013, I already had a big database of people, not a big, but I had a database of people that use this. Some of them, I got them through social networks. Others, I got them through specialized blogs like Let's Talk Bitcoin, and others through some of the first peer-to-peer companies that actually let you communicate through messages. One of them was Local Bitcoins.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So, and the beginning, that was the only way to exchange, for example, in Mexico, and you can send message to people. So I started messaging people and then getting their contact, and that's how I started getting people from Latin America that used Bitcoin.
That's fantastic. Okay, so I mean, yeah, like the real OG. Fantastic. Fair enough. So, I mean, you have seen a pretty wild evolution from, I mean, all of us have watched it, even the last 2 years alone, we could say, is a whole epoch. But you have seen the meteoric rise of this technology, and you've come from a space where you know just how powerful it is, and it's going to continue to be. So that's fantastic. So I guess, how has Hive fit into that for you? Like you've found us. I mean, you've made a long journey to get here. What does that look like for you? What's Hive all about? I know, right?
So, besides, yes, of course, using Bitcoin and the different technologies, for example, Ethereum, I've got to meet Vitalik when he was pitching Ethereum before. He was looking for investment at the beginning of
That's a flex.
2014.
I'm not going to lie. That's a flex. That's absolutely a good story.
And then you started seeing all these different use cases that actually work. And I remember it was a speech that he gave at the beginning of 2014 in the first Texas Bitcoin conference he said that he was going to create this system called Ethereum in which you can convert Bitcoin, for example, to a movie. And you say, well, you're going to produce that into a movie. Well, not the actual movie, but you're gonna be streaming, and it's gonna be a token, and depending on how much you watch is what you're gonna get micro charged and to make a payment. If you don't like it, there's gonna be a secondary market that's gonna be in the blockchain, and you're gonna be able to sell it. And that's things that we're seeing right now that
Totally.
at the end were just ideas. So since Bitcoin, I've also used the different Bitcoin clones because of different use cases. There weren't so many, but well, you had Namecoin that you had there. You can have your host your name your web page with a dot name of different types. You had also Mastercoin, which was predecessor to Ethereum, Litecoin. Then you had the beginning of Dogecoin. For example, I tested Dogecoin because I used to mine that in 2013 because it was cheaper than Bitcoin, and Bitcoin was less than $100 back then. And even then, the fees while you were mining, it took down your profit. So that's why we mined Dogecoin. Dogecoin was very profitable against Bitcoin, and it went more up afterwards. In 2013, it was very cool because, Bitcoin went to $100 for the first time. Then it went to $1,300, but then you went to 2014, and it went down to $180. So that was like a 90%. So, but well, despite the price, I've always experimented with different use cases. And some of them that I experimented, was with Hive, and well, before that, all the drama with Steemit that happened. But I was also one of the first users here in Mexico of Steemit, and just to try it out and to see how it actually works. I've done that with this blogging, with video games, with different currencies, with now that you have NFTs, DeFi, Metaverse, etc. I've got into all these topics just partially to experiment. The other is, there have been some interesting opportunities as investments. I mean, although I would consider all the investments in this space high risk, there are also some that you may lose your money, but there are also that have been very, very profitable, like Bitcoin when I started, and other cryptocurrencies that are use cases that actually took off.
That's nuts when you think about it. And actually, you know what? It's funny because I obviously started after you, but I remember I bought my first Ethereum at $15 Canadian. So, and I'm still poor, so that'll tell you roughly how I've played that game. But the reality is I'm not a trader. I'm very much like you. I'm one of those people I can say I'm in it for the tech. And that's been good and it's been bad, but it certainly led me to a place where, when I found Hive, a lot of things clicked. And again, it's not about the token price. And, the legacy chain for me was very much like, this is what we're doing with it. But this is what the community can see doing with it. And the vision of the community was so much larger than the literal company that was running and creating this legacy chain. And that to me was where things really, really clicked is, I call it the legacy chain a lot because, we try not to dwell on those days. But at the time, Steemit Inc. Had a team and they were working very doggedly and very pointedly on the blogging aspect of it. And that was fine. But we were starting to get glimmers of other front ends and then that turned into games and it started to grow. And the community, the reason they are so passionate about Hive is because they were expanding what was possible and then saw that potentially being ripped away from them, and it created this opportunity for us to be here. So now this is your first HiveFest where you've presented, I think, right? This is your first presentation. Perfect. So it's really cool to have you kind of do that whole arc where you've been involved with every project. You've seen every cryptocurrency kind of come and some go, come and go. So maybe for those of us who didn't get to, hear what you were presenting about, kind of give us a little quick rundown of what it was that you brought here to HiveFest.
Yeah, well, I've talked about my first 10 years being an entrepreneur, since starting where there was nothing and traveling around the world looking for people that were interested in this, technology. And the first events that happened in United States and in Mexico, Latin America, Argentina, Brazil, going around and meeting people. I mean, at the time, Bitcoin and all this it was like some $1 million, all the market cap, and Bitcoin was like 99% of all that market cap. So it was crazy. But what I started doing was, from one side, being an entrepreneur and creating companies and investing in companies and bringing it to Mexico and expanding them. But also something that I saw was creating events and community and educational events, because I know, coming from financial background, that financial products can be intimidating to most people, and they won't tell you.
Absolutely.
They will just quit.
Yes.
So I saw that with this, even today. I mean, although I've been all these years, I don't know everything about all these technologies. I know a lot of use cases, a lot of things to do, etc. But it's very hard to know everything about this technology. So something that I started doing in 2013 was doing all these friendly events,
Yeah.
in which people could come, talk, have a drink, have a sandwich, etc., and afterwards learn and make all the questions that they feel comfortable, and doing this spaces that are comfortable for the people, and that they will be open to have all these questions. Because if you don't do that, you won't create community, this won't grow, you won't have new people over here. So you take away all this friction, and also you don't know what's going to spark off out of that. There's people that have gone to my meetups, to my events, and now I host the biggest event in Latin America. It's called Talentland. We had 62,000 people this year.
Holy.
So we have blockchain, business, developers, artists. We have 20 stages, 1,000 speakers, 62,000 attendees, etc. And it's very exciting, because in those events or in my meetups, there's a lot of people that told me, like, because of you, I know about this, and my career changed, or now I'm an entrepreneur, or you don't know about this, but after your talk, I started doing this, and now I have this good company, which is great. I mean, that is the objective of all this, doing all this cycle of people that are growing and creating, and not only because they want to get greedy or get million, etc., because they see a better alternative system that can be brought together and constructed in this technology.
I mean, I don't even feel like I need to say anything. We just like sit here quietly for a little bit, because I mean, that's it, right? It's sharing of knowledge, it's sharing of passion, and it's understanding that the intimidating the aspect of it, that's a perfect way of putting it, is, we don't like to think about money problems. We don't like to think about when we have them, or we have a lack of understanding, and we certainly don't like to think about how the governments and the regulators and all of the people that impact our economy, they have problems. We don't even think about those. We just put our blinders on,
because, and they create problems.
And they create problems. I mean, they created this space because they are a problem. So, I mean, what an incredible story. And, I mean, I'm really thrilled that we had you come and talk about this, because this is essentially the core of what Hive is. And it doesn't matter that you start in Bitcoin, or now your event is everything. And actually, even what I'm hopefully kind of trying to do is to find events like yours. So it's wonderful to me to hear that you recognize that where this space goes is not just crypto people. It is entrepreneurs, it's artists, it's end users, and how all of these people interact in a space where value is transacted. Anytime humans gather, a marketplace is formed, and it's not always just for monetary or cryptocurrency. All of these relationships are valuable, and that's the heart of what Hive is meant to capture. So, I mean, obviously, definitely, please show your event, get more of our people, interested in your event. But also, can you try and talk a little bit about how it was that you grew this? Because like you said, you started with a couple sandwiches in a comfortable location and said, come in and talk to me, and now have 62,000 people coming to eat your sandwiches. That's an incredible growth. So for people who are kind of trying to be like, well, how do I do that? I like talking. I like this chain. I like that chain. I have knowledge. Obviously, creating on Hive is one aspect. But in terms of these meetups, how do you, what's a good blueprint for trying to grow a strong local community network?
First of all, starting and taking the first step, there's a lot of people that talk that I want to do this, just do it. It doesn't matter if there is only 3, 5, 10 people.
Yeah.
Actually, we did the second meetup here in Mexico City, and the person that did the first meetup, he didn't want to do another meetup because he told me, oh, only 6 people came. 2 were my family and 4 were my own friends. So no one really came. I'm like, okay, but we have to do this bigger. We have to invite more people. We have to do some marketing about the event. We have to invite media. We have to talk this. We have to bring different speakers of the few people that we know that are entrepreneurs are doing this. So first of all, just start and do it.
Yes.
And then being consistent on doing it. Because if you do one and then you take another year to do the next one, I mean, lots of people are not going to come back and they're going to forget about this. And also, something that I did a lot is getting help and getting advice from people that have already done that in other countries. I mean, there wasn't much, but that's how I met the Argentinian community. And one of my first startups was actually in Argentina because of that. And those people, I mean, they didn't have much more, but at least a year before us, and they already, for example, had a Facebook group, they had a meetup group, they already had La Bitcoin, which was the Latin American Bitcoin conference in their first edition. So I brought all of that to Mexico. We did that in 2015, for example. I brought some of the companies over to Mexico and create, community and find people that have the same objectives and that can help you out. And also bringing something of value to the people, not only giving them beers and sandwiches, whatever, but something that is going to be of interest. Maybe you're going to talk about this as financial product. Maybe you're going to different use cases or how it's being used in other countries, the future regulations, etc. So something that is of value of people. And well, the event that we host is not only me. I mean, that has been an event that has been building in Latin America for over 10 years. And 5 years ago, my partner created this event called Talent Network, and he had already done massive events before that. So he made it grow from 18,000 people to 62,000 people, and also having a great team. I mean, I'm the head of blockchain. I have my stage, I have my community, I have my spaces for sponsorships, etc.
Yes.
And that's one of the stages. We have 20 stages like that. So there's 20 other people in each one of the stages working 24 hours on that, creating that event, and also having a great team. I mean, people that have already done lots of events, massive events, know how to, all this unexpected things that can happen. I mean, with an event that big, there's a lot of things that can happen. So having very experienced people and professional people, and also having people that, like I'm passionate about blockchain, they have another passionate about developers, they have other passionate about business, etc., the robotics. So having all these people that would do that work if they weren't paid any.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. I have to say, your very, very first answer, which was do it. Just do it and be consistent. I mean, it's so funny because it seems like, well, duh. But no, not just duh, because a lot of us do. I mean, we need a push and we want to do it, but for whatever reason, internally, we just don't have quite enough. So, I mean, this is a great example of how, it's a thing I really, really love, and it makes hard work a little bit easier when it is fueled by passion. And it's a great fit for people on Hive, even who might struggle to kind of just start building their community just even on Hive, or start creating content on Hive if that's what they want to do, or whatever the case may be. So I'm keeping an eye on the stage here, and they're still doing and answering questions. So we still have a bit more time, which is excellent. And I have to know, I noticed you brought a book along with you. So, I mean, what is this? Where did this come from? Or you're hanging on to it. So, tell us the story.
I've participated in some books. The first one was in the translation of Mastering Bitcoin of Andreas Antonopoulos to Spanish. So that was really cool in 2016. And last year they invited me to that book, which is Marketing 5.0 of Philip Kotler. That's the bestseller in the world of marketing.
Yes.
It has been for the last 5 editions. So they invited me to write the chapter about blockchain, NFTs, and metaverse.
Awesome. So yeah, it's almost like you've built up some expertise, and now you've actually, you've made a name for yourself in this space, I guess, with just a couple of years hard work, just a few. That's super cool. It's quite interesting because obviously, again, started with some translations, gave you an opportunity to learn a lot while you were translating, and then became your own sort of like, you have expertise, you write too. That's something that I've found is really interesting on Hive, that has become a unifying thing, which is a lot of our global communities offer or get work helping doing real translations in real time for either English speakers or, you know, across different languages. That's a really great opportunity for learning, right? I mean, so I mean, I'm kind of stunned by everything that you've accomplished. So amazing, good job. But of course, so as we kind of we're not fully wrapped up with our time together, but we have the live stream. Yeah, I kind of keep seeing you kind of go like, "Ugh." So I thought, no, while we have time, I'm gonna pass this off to you here.
Okay. So first of all, like it's really a amazing feeling to meet like the real OG of really like crypto. You know, like in this first days and this like for many years. Like I've been involved in crypto. That was the end of 2016. So still quite early, and I'm just yeah, it's so amazing. Yes, you got a book there, you got a huge community as well. Like my question is, I've heard just a bit of your presentation as well, and you was talking about Salvador. We got a little conversation about it, yeah? Do you like to just say your opinion about what do you think about this Bitcoin? Is it really revolution or is it not really as it is showed? You know, because a lot of Bitcoin maxis up there are like, oh, this is this mining volcano using, right?
It's cool though.
But yes, but I'm pretty sure there is some pros and definitely cons as right. So I would like you to just, I think this is a very interesting topic to mention about like what, because you are like Bitcoin OG, right? What do you think actually about this move in Salvador? Is it really as it is? And also you live in Latin America and you are from Mexico, and you know it's just you probably know more about it because a lot of informations are also in Spanish, right? And you definitely know more the information that we might not be aware or we might not know. So I would like you to tell you something about, is it really looks like it looks like, or is it just something hidden there that we can't see? Well, this is my question.
Yeah, well, something that I also did all these years, not because I'm very happy or it's my passion, but because of necessity and threats, was dealing with government, central banks, and secretaries of state that wanted to shut down this industry. They're still trying to do it, not only in Mexico, but around the world. There are a lot of resistance still. And so coming from financial markets and regulated and highly regulated and reported, etc., I not only come from stockbrokers, but I also worked in securities and investigation services for the biggest frauds in Mexico and in the world, some of them. So I knew that eventually regulation would come, and it came faster than I expected. Since 2014, they have closed or tried to close different companies that I have worked or collaborated with. So something that I started doing since 2013 was knock on doors of regulators, central banks, politicians, etc., to start talking about this, so they would have at least an informed decision when they try to kill it or not kill it. So most of my time I travel and have a lot of opportunity to meet a lot of people, and some that I met was all the central bankers and governments of Central America in an event in Honduras in 2017, and there I met the team of President Bukele when he was a candidate. And afterwards he became president. And when they announced Bitcoin as legal tender, I talked to them to presidency and told them I want to go help. And he told me, when do you want to go? It was a Thursday. I told him Monday. And he said, okay, come over and we'll make you an agenda with all the secretaries of state. So that was very fun and exciting. So I got to meet all the secretaries of state, all their teams, central bank, regulators, their Senate, their all the different politicians, and got to get a view of the plan that they had. And I was staying there for a week and ended up staying for a year. I lived there for a year, and it was also very exciting to see how it came. So There was a lot of expectations and also a lot of pressure. Oh yeah, you're gonna make Bitcoin legal tender, and next day everyone's gonna use Bitcoin, and your economy is gonna grow 100%. No, it takes people months or years to actually learn to use this technology, etc. Something that they have pending, but that they were gonna do since the first year, but couldn't do it because of resources, time, planification, etc. Was bringing education to every town in El Salvador for them to learn. They're just starting to take off that project and starting to do different educational programs, and also bringing companies that educate, and etc., and exchanges and different type of companies that help in that. So that is something that they had pending. If it would have been done 2 years ago, maybe there would be more adoption, but it has been great for tourism, for foreign investment, for companies that aren't being established in Mexico or in Argentina and Brazil. They're being established in El Salvador because they have a friendly regulation. I mean, those are the good things. There are also, I mean, things that are lacking. One of them is, the education and adoption. And on the other side, you have to take into account that El Salvador is one of the smallest countries in the world and one of the poorest ones. So Mexico has about 50 to 60% on bank, and for them it was like 70%. So it's a very high number. So creating this nationwide wallet was a good option for people that do not have access to banking, do not have access to payment online, do not have access to transfer, do not have access, for example, to receive a remittance. They have to go physically and withdraw it in cash. And they charge 20, 30, 40% for that. And it's dollar to dollar. So there's no exchange in the middle. So that is something crazy that happened. And also, well, the bad reputation. I mean, homicides and crime were peak levels, and now they've been brought down. So that also brings in investment and some security. Now, those are like the good parts. There are also some bad parts about that. Well, not bad, but opportunity. One of them, of course, is the education. The other one is for actual use cases. The other is that, there's lots of foreign companies coming in which generate high-paying jobs.
Yeah.
That is a great opportunity for the country, but they cannot take advantage of that because they don't have the education or the profile.
Of course.
The next step is creating that education for local people to take advantage of those opportunities and rise their income level. So those are good things. On the other side, you have to take into account that, there was a huge adoption. There's like 6 million downloads, and there's like 3 million people in El Salvador. And why is there so many? Because they say that there's over 3 million outside the country that also downloaded the wallet. That is very good. I mean, you're going to have access to that. But on the other side, you have to take into account that it's a custodian account. It's not one that you have your private keys. So at the end of the day, you normally trust a wallet, you normally trust an exchange, you normally trust a company. In this case, you have to trust the suppliers of the government and the government for this implementation and for this to work. It has been working. They have been trying to make all the bugs and different kind of problems work, but there's still work to do. And the next step would be for everyone to have their self-custodian wallets. That's what they need to learn eventually, because if not, I mean, right now they're pro-Bitcoin, but imagine that the next president isn't pro-Bitcoin. He's going to get all the ledgers, he's going to take that, he's going to do a mess, and he can do it because why? Because the custodian is the actual government. So there is where people need to take that next step. And also, like I told you, the educational part to take advantage
extending
of
the education
jobs.
for sure. I mean, incredible. So we're unfortunately, we're coming to the end of our time here. But one thing that I kind of just wanted to close with is you'll get a closing statement. You get to say whatever you want because this is the chill live stream. But just because you are so knowledgeable in this space, before we just wrap her up, I want to kind of point out that we have a group, and you're probably quite familiar with, and it's a group we've got a couple groups, but I'm going to pick one specifically, and that's a group in Sucre in Venezuela, and they are doing business-to-business outreach, and this is exactly what they're doing, is they are literally going from store to store, person to person, and hooking them up with Hive Keychain and HBD, and showing them how here's an invoice, here's a QR code, here's how you pay, and creating circular economies. And it's growing incredibly quickly, really, really fast. So, I mean, if there's, they frankly are smoking along, and the idea is that we'll use them to help other places replicate this exact, we'll call it a flywheel effect, where it gets rolling and then it's harder and harder and harder to stop. So sort of what you've seen, obviously you're talking about the good and the bad, and actually being there for a year as you are working with a government to put this in place. So for these people, these trailblazers, especially in Venezuela, very similar situation with people who are unbanked and also who are having the absolute snot overinflated out of their currency. Like, it's not so hot there right now. Any kind of tips for them, because they're doing a great job, but like, if you could help them with any advice from watching sort of this first public attempt happen in El Salvador, what for somebody who wants to make this happen utilizing some Hive protocols, what's your best advice?
Well, I'll be next month in
Again,
Venezuela.
no pressure.
No, next month I'll be in Caracas for Caracas Blockchain Week. So I'll see the Hive community over there. I was
sure will.
last year too over there, and they also had a booth. So it was, it was very fun and exciting to see all the community over there. Actually, I used this today because I bought this one in Venezuela, and I know that there were Hive people that couldn't make it over there. So I'll see all of them next month in Venezuela, and in a couple of weeks also, if there's in Bogota, I'm gonna be in Bogota. But there's a great opportunity in Venezuela, because there's hyperinflation, their currency is a mess, etc. But they just dollarized their economy last year. So that's a great opportunity, for example, for stable coins, because people cannot pay anymore with a kilogram of bill for bread. I mean,
absolutely.
It's insane. And also, you have an exchange rate that's changing every day. So now they dollarize the economy. So there's a big opportunity. And also, something that I said during my talk is, there's a huge difference between having an extra income of $1, $2, $5, $10 for someone in Venezuela, Mexico, Colombia, etc., than from someone from the United States. With that, you can feed yourself or your family for a day, and that's going to be that's a big change. And also, there's some things that happen. For example, when Play to Earn came in Axie Infinity, most people that at that time had and played and had an extra income, most of them had never had in their life an extra income.
Yeah.
So that was an opportunity for them to grow and to create more business and to grow personally. So it does create opportunities. Of course, there's some speculation too, and some stuff that cannot go for the long run. But all of these opportunities for Latin America is great. Not only investing and speculating and doing trading, which is what most people do, but actually using all these use cases that can create for yourself and your community a market and an income additional to what you have. So that is a great opportunity. And also, you're going to see more often what happened in Argentina when they arrived. I mean, their currency, like Venezuela, is and their economy is a mess. Their inflation, etc.
Yes.
So instead of waiting for the government to do legal tender like they did in Salvador, you simply start using alternative options like cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, stablecoins, etc. And you don't need to fight with the government. Like you said, you just go to the community, you show them this is money. There's a way to exchange it and have it into your bank account eventually. And you're not going to have your money devaluated because it's in bolivares or some kind of pesos. So that is also a great option. You cannot plan, invest, or do a financial planning when your currency is every day losing value and at a high speed rate.
Yeah. Man, oh man. All right. Well, thank you for coming to chat with us. So last closing statement, because I know you've got a lot of fans watching on the stream here now, so you can say whatever you want with your last couple of seconds here. So have at her. Whatever you like.
First of all,
Yeah, you can show.
First, I'm back in Hive, so you can follow me as Jose Pimpo. So I just posted yesterday with Eddie.
Yeah.
So happy to also meet new people from the community. It had been like 3 years since my last post, so
You're as bad as me.
yeah. But well,
Time flies. Time flies when you're having a lot of fun and are real
yeah.
busy.
But
Yeah.
well, I've published lots of articles too. I used to work for different coin news outlets. For
Yes.
example, Cointelegraph, when they started, I published some articles over there. So well, first of all, that also invite everybody to my event. It's going to be in April in Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, and in Malaga, Spain on July. That's called Talentland, and my specific space there is called Blockchain Land. So I have my blockchain space inside the
Please make
the
some
event.
posts about this
Yes,
so
yes, I
we
will.
can get some community checking it out.
And well, on the other side, people that are in Mexico, I just opened my Bitcoin ATM company. So I have it in different malls in Mexico City. One is Paseo Interlomas, Forum Buenavista, and Narcos Bosques. So I have 3 over there. I have another at influencer like academy and house that's called Fission Studios in Polanco. So I have those ATMs right now. I'm gonna place in total 9, and I'm raising funds to grow twice as much the company. So right now that is one of my focus that I'm doing my new company and my new baby. And also, well, yeah, like I said, if you have plans and if you wish to come, and there's so much information right now. It's not like when I started that you had to go look for a person or in a strange blog for information and only talk about experience. There's so much material right now, even in Spanish, because there weren't anything in Spanish when I started. So people that don't speak English are completely left out.
Yes.
So right now, just don't go to the YouTubers that are going to tell you that you're going to get rich. Stay away from those guys with all the
Yeah.
influencers. Go to the people that actually will show you stuff and teach you, and you will learn. Like for me, one of the first persons that I met like this was Andreas Antonopoulos.
Yes.
He won't tell you about you're gonna get rich, you're gonna, but the development and the possibilities that you can have with these technologies that are being created right now. So there's so much things and so much materials. Also many events around the world. That's very cool. Like we're here in Rosarito. There's events in Mexico, in Monterrey, in Nuevo León, in Mexico City, in Querétaro, in Guadalajara. I'm gonna be in all those events. So there's many events going on. So also, if you have never been to an event, go to one event. You're gonna have fun.
Just do it. There's that advice again.
Yeah. and you're gonna have fun, and you can ask whatever you want. I mean, normally you come to these events, you won't see anything. Oh, your question's so dumb. No, everyone
Never.
was there at the beginning, and everyone tried to jump through that. And if someone has that interest and that motivation, you help them out to grow, and to also eventually they're gonna show and help other people. So well. Thank you very much for inviting me to the podcast, and also to the
OG crypto. We always welcome.
Yeah.
to the event. And
Fantastic.
Well,
We're gonna
follow me
I was just
in
gonna say.
Hive, and also it's the same handle that I have in Twitter, Instagram, and in Hive. It's at Jose Pimpo. So yeah, you can follow
Perfect.
me over there, and we can be in contact. And I hope to see you all at my next event.
Awesome. We're going to follow your journeys. It was awesome talking to you. Thank you. Thank you.
Pleasure, Jose.
All right.
Pleasure. Thank you very much.